Rise of the shit! Sorry about that, guys. I got a wee bit excited. Welcome to the Valkerie Speaks. I'm your host, Vic, and it's our very first official episode. Yay! And for our first episode, I want to introduce you all to a recent animated series that is very close to my heart. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, an incarnation of the TMNT that focuses on comedy and a message of love and family. Some of you already know this show, and that's probably why you're here in the first place. But for those that don't, I don't know, maybe you're watching because you heard it's cringe, so you wanted to see an analysis review first, to shield yourself from some of that deadly cringe. Here's the basics of the show. Rise follows the adventures of 4 Teenage Mutant Turtle brothers, Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, and Michelangelo, better known as Raph, Leo, Donnie, and Mikey, their best human friend April O'Neil, their rat dad / ninja teacher Master Splinter, as well as many an episodic enemy they may face for the day. They enjoy your basic teenager things, food that's bad for you, violent over-the-top movies and imitating them, having fun with video games and sports. They also enjoy things like science, training, cooking, fighting, and they attempt to be the heroes they think the city of New York needs. And sometimes it does. New York's seen some weird shit. And they're awkwardly saviorific. While past incarnations of the TMNT have focused more on the action and the drama the show has to offer, you'll find that isn't quite the main focus with this one, as they focus more on the interaction between the characters, how realistic the familial ties are. Don't get me wrong, there's still tons of action. It's just laced in there with the tender care and comedy. But enough about the basics of the show itself. You're here for the episode. This is Season 1, Episode 1, Mystic Mayhem, written by Ian Bush, Russ Carney, Ron Corsilio, and Jesse Gordon. Let's begin. We start the episode following this little guy, an unknown creature who we'll refer to as Mayhem. I'm always a sucker for things with chaotic names. Now, Mayhem is described by the characters as a little dog-like creature, but honestly he feels more like a Nekomata or a Bakaneko even, since the whole show goes with the whole yokai thing. Anyhow, Mayhem is being chased by a strange duo of humans who are wearing small dogs and baby carriers on their chest. I'm sure New York has seen weirder. The two manage to corner the poor little guy, and it looks like he's trapped. Oh, but oh ho, this little booger can teleport. Later, suckers! He gets away, and we cut to the next scene. Next, we're introduced to the titular ninja baby-faced boys. You know, the ones people came for, as they seem to eye a shady party on a rooftop from the top of a tall building. That guy looks to be doing some not-so-good guy business. Raphael takes the lead, seeming to confirm details with someone on a walkie-talkie, while Donatello shoots a zipline that connects across the way, and the boys go in. Now, of course, they're gonna do the obvious thing and stop that probable drug dealer. Boys, where are you?
Cow! Slap! Bunga! Cannonball!
Oh. Oh, no, that's fine. You go keep being kids. I'll just go call Batman or something. I hear he does crossovers with TMNTs now. Yes, it seems we got a fake out on our hands here, guys, as these silly mischief makers have dodged the party completely to perform a cannonball of epic proportions on the rooftop pool next door, thanks to Miss April O'Neil, who has a job in this building, and therefore access to the roof. She's April. She kicks ass. Probably one of my more favorite incarnations of April to date. A classic fake-out trope that I wasn't expecting, but I was welcome to. After putting up the proper signage of wet floor and dry pool, the gang heads off to Rucker Park to shoot some hoops. Only Raph seems to catch something in the corner of his eye as he sees our little friend Mayhem looking distraught in a construction site.
Huh? Oh.
Having a strong sense of justice, as well as a soft spot for cute things, he has everyone stop what they're doing and go to see what's up. Raph, of course, tries to adhere to being one with nature, but Mayhem seems to take to April better. Understandable. Suddenly, the two men with doggy babies from before show up, and oh no, their cover's blown already?
Initiate Plan H.
Excuse me, sirs. Can you direct us to the local science fiction convention that we are currently dressed for?
Snazzy alien turtle outfits, huh?
We are just typical normal humans who got lost in the middle of our normal, everyday human lives. Nailed it.
Dude, you gotta make it to rehearsal.
Nope. They're playing the Comic-Con card. I mean, fair enough, that's what I'd do in this situation, just with less suck. But what can I expect from teenagers? Right? These awkward boys ain't fooling no one, as the men suddenly change in form. Holy shell, those aren't humans, those are... I don't actually know what those are, but they're mean, and they want to hurt the puppy dog. That's actually more of a Bakaneko or Nekomata. Get 'em, boys!
This is our chance to
Guys, I got this. Fibonacci! Oh no. Ah, no, oh no.
Daddy!
Pro tip, the inexplicable glowy wave, extraordinarily painful. Oh.
You had to ruin Cannonball Day. My sword!
Mikey, ninja mode. Okay, there's a chance he can still see us.
Ah. Right. Rise of the TMNT. They are easily defeated like the kids they are, which honestly is a great change of pace from what shows typically start with. OP kids that know exactly what to do in this kind of situation. It's a nice touch of realism. The creepos capture and take Mayhem, opening a portal to a seemingly new dimension. Which, of course, an innocent bystander promptly rides his bike into.
Sweet shortcut. Wait. This is not a shortcut.
Sorry, delivery guy. Should have put up a sign. Now, the rational thing to do here would be to go and get help, right?
April, go!
Babies! That's right. April straight up leaps in after them. But before the turtles can do the same, the portal closes. And the largest of teens smashes his face against the wall.
Oh!
Yikes. You'll get there, Raffy. You'll get there. The boys regroup, trying to figure out how to get through, when Mikey points something out.
Oh, hey! I've seen this before!
In fact, we all have.
The boys have seen this symbol before, on a daily basis in fact, as a small device with the same sigil sits on a do not touch shelf back in their home. Alright guys, get ready, cause this is where we meet the legend himself, the one to teach these four the honorable way of the ninja and Bushido, the one, the only, at least in this universe, the Grand Master Split. Really? That's what you're going with? Alright, different universes work differently, I guess. Let's see how we... Now, this winter's had some controversy, but I promise his first impressions are not what to go off of. Eventually, you'll grow to love this dumbass, and all his faults. For now, however, I will refer to him as Gerbil Dad, as my friend and myself have thought he has yet to earn the title of Beloved Rat Dad. While the turtles have some pretty diverse design choices, with being different species of turtle at that, Gerbil Dad here has definitely gotten the comedic design choices for this series. He's short, he's fat, unhygienic, puts an emphasis on the old factor. But you know, at least he wasn't a science experiment who learned ninjutsu from a picture book. Looking at you, bae. Anyway, after proving to us why the Splinter earns the nickname Gerbil Dad, showing us that he is stubborn but also lazy to a T, the boys manage to wait for him to fall asleep after his milk and cake 5 seconds later, and they get the device they need. Yay! And back to the construction site they go to rescue their reckless friend. But it takes them a moment, as well as a mention of fear stink,
Stop talking about my fear stink!
before Mikey takes control and opens the portal in the same fashion as the creatures from before. Unsure of what waits before them, the turtles make a callback to their introduction and cannonball straight into the portal, leading them to a secret hidden city under New York City, where April immediately finds them and tells them just that. They're in a hidden city, under New York, full of mystic creatures. April Ex Machina. She then leads the boys to a very spooky-looking laboratory, where she's already located Mayhem. Oh, look at the baby! Go save him! Come on now, chop chop! Ah, right. You guys lost your weapons in that fight back there. But here we're introduced to one of my favorite characters in the entire show. Baron Draxum, a mutant warrior alchemist, voiced by John Cena of all people. And he actually shows a lot of promise of being a good antagonist for our young heroes. Strong, smart, a little cocky, a little full of himself, and definitely having experience. It was he who was after Little Mayhem, or rather the glowing green flask that the creature had taken from him and now had around its neck. For it was the last ingredient he needed to finish his experiments. And unfortunately for that delivery guy that tried to take the shortcut before,
Sweet shortcut! Wait! It's not a shortcut!
he's the first test subject of these nasty little bugs known as Oosquitos. And he's turned into a mutant fishman. Sorry, man. You just did not have the luck. Raph suddenly gives a heartwarming pep talk to the crew and says they don't need weapons to be heroes. Right before April reveals she found some cool-looking weapons room. April Ex Machina. Once inside, the entire group can't help but ogle everything, and honestly, who could blame them? Look at all that pretty eye candy. I'd be distracted by the shininess alone. But ultimately, it's the glowing, mystic weapons that call out to at least 3 of the turtles, with Donnie opting to stay with his own creation over some mystical mumbo-jumbo. Though he does grab a pretty magic crystal that goes great with his color scheme to be used as a battery later on. Did I mention this was a comedy? Because it becomes really apparent when the turtles announce their presence to the warrior, trying to be intimidating and cool about it. But Raphael just keeps getting interrupted or corrected or added onto with his demands. And just what is the warring warrior scientist reaction to these wonderful, glorious, silly children?
Stop creating imitation crabmen.
And a ride home in a limo with a hot tub and pizza.
Stop creating imitation crabmen, and you'll walk out of here beautiful.
He loves them. He adores them. He's proud by their physique alone. And he wants them to be his pupils, his soldiers. Seems like this guy created the tubular turtles, or at least it's inferred. April doesn't give him a chance to say anything, however, as she leaps into action Leroy Jenkins style, trying to free Mayhem from its magic prison.
To the dog thingy.
Let's do this! April!
Oh my gosh, she just ran in!
I understood that reference.
Foony joke. The climax of the episode begins, with the boys fighting a large metallic golem at first. Donnie's machine once again goes haywire, but that only manages to help them destroy the golem, which impresses Draxum as he introduces himself in the third person.
Baron Draxum does not surrender.
Okay, well, when he gets here, we'll deal with him. Oh, I see you're doing that whole sinister talking in the third person thing.
Only Raph can use the third person.
But what if Vic wants to refer themselves in the third person? Don't hog all the narrative types, man. John Cena's persona can use the third person if he wants to. Okay, I'll stop. And once more, Draxum is interrupted by April O'Neil and her subduing his gargoyles. And he's not happy there's a human trying to thwart him. Human! So he restrains her with these wicked cool vines he made grow from seeds in his hand. Like, what a cool and unique type of magic. I dig it big time. This, of course, makes the boys upset that he's treating their best friend so poorly. So, Mikey attempts an attack with his new magic Kusari Fundo, a typically short combat chain. But his attack also goes 3 ways from Sunday, as the weapon catches fire with a wicked, mischievous laugh, and drags him through the air like a runaway dog. Raph attempts to do the same with his new Tompa, a pair of short, wooden batons, but his mystic weapon...
Magic weapon, magic weapon, magic weapon!
Alright, magic weapon sends him flying through a wall, since he doesn't know how to work it just yet. Leo is just as excited to see what his does, as he rushes at the yokai, sword in tow. It seems not even Draxum is aware of what the Odachi would do, as he simply braces for a powerful mystic attack. But instead, it opens a portal below the startled Slider. I see the writers are fans of a certain puzzle game. And I am loving it! Donnie takes his swing at the strong warrior, and it almost looks like he could have done some real damage. If Mikey, who's still flying through the air, hadn't run into him, tying them up together.
We don't spend enough quality time together.
Oh, please, not now, Mikey.
Babies! Draxum restrains the 4 turtles, tossing April to them now, and tries to talk them into training under him, seeing their potential. But, being raised on believing in justice over evil, the boys refuse. And Donnie notices something pretty bad about to happen that the alchemist failed to heed in his warnings. Apparently, Mikey had disrupted the core of the strange machine that held Mayhem and the Uskitos with his acrobatics, and it was starting to become unstable, crumbling away at its base and freeing the little creature. Mayhem, thankful for the care and albeit futile attempts at his rescue, teleports the teens out of there before the tower comes crashing down.
Oh, nuts.
Finally, the day is saved. The turtles got some new cool weapons, April got a new little magic teleporting pet Mayhem, and Raph decides that they need a cool name to call themselves.
We deserve a name like Mad Dog!
Really? You don't want to try something like...
Ninja Mutant Turtle Teens, or I don't know, maybe we'll keep brainstorming.
You'll get there, Leo. You'll get there. And that's the end of the episode. What a happy end to a happy... sewer apples. Well, I'd call that an amazing start to an amazing series. The boys aren't perfect yet, but that's the point. It's the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, let's talk about what I took from this episode. Not everything will be how you expect it to turn out, just because something similarly set up in the past went that way. You'll find that the show does this a lot. Plain and simple, expect the unexpected. Moving on to my MVC, most valuable character. With an introduction episode, it's hard to just pick one character to dote on, as the writers are trying to show you that they have an abundance of character to fall in love with. But I think that for the first episode, I'm gonna have to go with my girl April. I love the title characters, don't get me wrong, but I just think April showed off the most character out of everyone this episode. From risking her job to join in on some reckless fun with the boys to straight up pulling a Leroy Jenkins. Literally, that is the reference. April meets the boys at every step, unlike other incarnations that have had to be saved, usually in the first episodes of the previous series. She doesn't treat the turtles like some weird creatures to be afraid of or make fun of, and the turtles don't treat her like a weak little human. They treat each other as friends despite their differences. April is a great character overall, but she really shines bright in the pilot episode. I give her a T rank status, which is the highest honor I can give. Now, most people have criticisms about the show, and I have a few nitpicks here and there myself. How about a segment where I discuss just what I'd change about the episode? Honestly, when I first saw this episode, I wasn't so sure I'd like it or the series, but mostly because of how Splinter was introduced and presented. I get he's meant to have a more comedic tone, but he gives off a real neglecting vibe from his intro, and I don't know, I just think they could have done that a little differently. Maybe have him care a little bit more about his hygiene, like, yeah, you're a rat, but rats can be well groomed, they don't have to be dirty. Even adding a little more vanity to his character would have sufficed, giving the master a little pride in his age. But other than that, I don't think I'd change a thing. Overall, I give this episode 4 out of 5 hearts. It's charming, full of red herrings, and funny to boot. The characters feel realistic, like they're actually teenagers. They make mistakes, but they learn from them. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a great show, especially as it goes on. And this is a great first episode to kick things off. Great heroes, great side characters, great creatures and lore, and a John Cena villain intro to die for. This has been Vic, the Digital Valkyrie, speaking on Mystic Mayhem. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.